Hello, I am Joachim in Sabaton, and you are watching Rocknlive.
A short man from Texas, a man of the wild, thrown into combat for bodies like mine.
Well, we sing about heroes on the album in a sense because we've been singing about military history ever since 2004-5, and every so often, we sing about big battles, and there are big consequences of that. When we were doing the lyrics for Coat of Arms, was it right?
2010.
Then we had some songs where we sang about, people instead, and that was really a interesting approach, to go into the individual and the split second that small time where you make a decision that might make you a hero. And so this one is not really focusing on war as a big picture, but rather the individuals, one single one or maybe a few only.
And we got the idea to make something like this already 4 years ago, when we had the Coat of Arms, and we had a few of those ideas stories that made it onto the album, and we have just saved it because there was in here, like in our heads, like this is a good idea for Sabaton. This is what we like to do, and I think that our fans like it, and we're gonna see that very soon.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah.
Hides his emotions, his blood's running cold. Just like his victories, his story unfolds. Light, our white light, if there be any glory in war.
In Abyss Studios with Peter Tekgren, he's mostly known for his productions or also as a singer of Hypocrisy and Pain. And we did this in 5 weeks in January, February. I mean, we don't believe in long studio recordings. We have almost everything written when we go into the studio, and then we get there in, was it the 3rd or 4th of January? We were done 1 week into February making the album. So let's say 5 weeks from early January till early February.
We have recorded basically everything in Abyss Studios in some way.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Since the beginning, and but we have worked also with Peter's big brother Tommy from the beginning. But Peter, our producer now, he has been with us and just doing small things in the beginning, and then doing more and more. In 2008, he mixed an album for us, and in 2010 he recorded drums for an album. In 2012 he did the first album as a full-time producer. Now he did it again, and I think we did it. There was more to give. The last album we did perfectly, from everything we could, together with Peter. But it's like anything, you learn more when you work together. So you can evolve.
Yep.
I don't think that it is the best time when you meet somebody for the first time. Maybe you can connect, but you can always evolve the relationship. And the new album is better.
Let it rest on them like hell.
Well, most people I think will know his face from, the drummer of Evergrey for a couple of years. Insanely nice guy. We've known him since 2010. But what other people might not know is that he was also during last summer working as drum tech for us. And which is also very nice because we already know the guy is the sweetest guy, and he is, sorry for the language, fucking amazing drummer. And so it was really easy for us.
Yeah, I mean, when he came to us and said, hey, I can play drums and I would love to play drums for you. I already know you guys, you know me. It's simple, and we thought, oh, well, maybe we don't need to look anywhere further than to our own drum tech, and that was as easy as it was. We invited him, and it felt like we're best friends since a long time, and he came with a great confidence, and we just played a song, and it felt like, wow, it's like we have been doing this for a long time together. It fits.
Yeah, I was
great.
I never had a feeling of everything connecting when playing with another drummer. It's always, because the drummer sets the pace. Everybody else has to follow the drummer. And always when we had other drummers for sessions or we had changed members before, there was always a long learning period to, you know, adapt to the new drummer, because everybody follows him. When we had, you know, Fred from Dragon Force joining us on guitar for one tour, you know, snapped in perfectly. So that was not the problem. But just the drummer, that's the foundation of the band. It normally takes, you know, lots of, you know,
it takes forever.
It takes loads of rehearsal and, you know, many shows until it, you know, feels right. That with Hannes, we think we were 30 seconds into the first song playing, and we were all looking at each other. Yeah,
this is it.
This is it. Easy. Yes, in a sense. I mean, I think also, as you said, there's much variation in this album, and that is one thing I thought was missing from Carolus Rex, because looking back at Carolus Rex, our previous album, I really like every song. If I listen from track 1 to track 10, I think the only thing that lacks is almost always you have the symphonic elements, you know, the orchestra, you have the big choirs, and there's full on all the time. And that in combination, I mean, every song I enjoy. But all together, sometimes, you know, when I listen to it, I felt it was a little bit too much. And this album, I think we found a really good mix. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride. You go up and then downhill and then stops and breaks down. So I really liked the fact that we didn't go all in with that ballad, because, you know, we could have, of course, gotten, you know, the orchestras in, you know, made it, you know, big, you know, lots of choirs, but we decided to scale that one down a bit. And I think the song turned out better because it gets more emotional when you get it smaller.
A man of the 15th, a man of can-do. Friends fall around him, and yet he can...
Every song on this album had to have an identity that stands out. It's very important that all of the songs really stood out. And I mean, there has been I think that there was a lot of songs which didn't make it to the album. There was different, mainly 3 different factors. 1, because they're not good enough. That's one. 2nd, because they were never completed. Or 3rd, because they sounded like something else from the album. And I think those are kind of 3 major factors why one song is not on the album. And here we looked a little bit more to the number 3 than we normally do. And some songs, it's a great song, but it sounds a little bit like this. So let's bring in something fresh, so that when you play one song and the next one comes, it feels fresh.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to confuse them with each other, because that would be failing. Oh yeah, it's that Sabaton song. Oh no, I was wrong. It's that one. So, in a sense, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride, but I like it. You know.
Let them fall face down if they must die, making it easier to say goodbye. Right, our white light, if there be any glory in war.
To be honest, 50% of the ideas for this album comes from our fans. You know, we've been on tour, we travel a lot. Sometimes somebody comes up with a book, here, you should read this. And we read it, and then it's like, this is cool, we should make a song about this, you know? Sometimes we get mails. You have received, I mean, some of these ideas has been in your mailbox for almost 5 years now.
Yeah, and some of this, the ideas comes in, and sometimes they are very just a sentence, and we can't really do anything with it. But we think that there might be something in it, and then we have to start doing research. That's when we maybe get the feeling that this is a great thing, or that we realize that this is nothing for us. But we do a lot of research about things that do not end up in the album for one or another reason as well. But it just needs a little spark sometimes, a little small, maybe. And then we look it up.
Rest on them like hell, who went to hell and came back.
In France, not until Hellfest this summer. In June we'll be in France, but we'll be in United States playing heavy metal in 2 weeks.
Yeah. We're touring until the release of the new album. Then we go back to Europe, and then we are doing the festivals, and that's when we do Hellfest here in France.
Let's wait, there's no debate. So charge and attack, going to hell and back. Go gather round me and listen while I speak. What hell is 6 feet deep?
Don't do it. I'm kidding. Well, actually, I do think the only one is actually to play a lot live, because you can learn in the rehearsal room with your friends, but don't do the same mistake as we've seen unfortunately many friends do, thinking that they are standing rehearsing and they become good musically, but they have no experience in how to have contact with the crowd on stage. Also, they don't look at the business side of things, even if it sounds boring, but somebody has to make sure that the band comes from the rehearsal room to the show, and arranging that. Don't forget about these things. And yeah, nobody is gonna love your band as much as you do yourself. And since in the beginning nobody's gonna be there to help you, because there's not any money to be made on your band because you're a small band. So you gotta help yourself, and I think today you cannot only see yourself as a musician. You also have to think about everything, because unless we went into some of these traps, maybe a bad record contract in our history as well. So to avoid doing the same mistakes that we sometimes made, I'd say it's smart to have, let's say you're a band, you're 5 people. Divide it up, maybe one guy will take care about the shows, or the technical stuff. Don't think that I am a musician, I can only play music. Those days are gone in heavy metal. You gotta be able to take control of your own future, and also know what happens within the band. Otherwise, if you don't, and if you're good, you're gonna get ass raped. People are gonna steal your money, and people are gonna probably take your dream away. And you can work for something for 10 years, and when you're finally there, it can be gone.
And I think also that it's good that if you just look and listen around you, it's very important. The impression that you give around what you are, not just as a musician, all the kind of impressions that you give away. It's so important to be nice. It's a small world for heavy metal bands. If you are not nice and friendly, people will quickly know, and you will quickly. Nobody wants to deal with you anymore. If you are one of the, if you would sell 1 million CDs,
everybody will work with you anyway.
Then you can be an asshole and people want you anyway. But if you want to reach 1 million CDs and just selling one, you have to be very nice, because next time you maybe not sell anyone.
And all along the shore, where cannons still roar, they're haunting my dreams, they're still there when I sleep.
We're here now in Paris. We are very thankful for being here. On the last album, Carolus Rex, we asked, because there was a reason why in France there was not so much interest for people to come to our shows as in some other countries. I know why. We haven't played enough here, we haven't been promoted enough here. So we asked our record label, can we please go to France and do a promotional day or 2 or 100 or whatever? And they said, yes, we try. And then came back, there's no people who wants to do interviews with you, not enough. So that was very sad. Now we're here with 2 full booked days, which means that there is an interest, and I'm very thankful for that, and that is something we're gonna definitely think and put down into shows, concerts, to come and play for the fans more, because I think we have a little bit more possibilities to do that now.